News home. More from UK News. Wednesday, May 30, 2018, 8:40 p.m. Share on Facebook, share on Messenger, share on Messenger, share on Twitter, share on WhatsApp. Video player 202000:000:000:000. Use up/down arrow keys to increase or decrease volume. Kremlin critic Arkady Babchenko, who was reported to have been shot dead on Wednesday, has strolled into a news conference where he declared, "I'm still alive." Vasily Gritsak, head of the Ukrainian security service, told the media gathered in Kiev that the agency faked Mr. Babchenko's death to stop a Russian plan to kill him. Moscow said it was happy that Mr. Babchenko was alive after all. Kiev had said the 41-year-old Russian journalist, a strong critic of President Vladimir Putin, was shot multiple times in the back at his apartment building while on his way to buy bread. They had claimed he was found bleeding by his wife and had died in the ambulance on the way to hospital. But, remarkably, Mr. Babchenko showed up at the news conference. To applause and gasps of surprise, the journalist apologized for what people had been through, and thanked everyone who had been mourning his death. "I would like to apologize for what you have all had to go through," Mr. Babchenko, who looked on the verge of tears at times, told reporters. "I'm sorry, but there was no other way of doing it." In particular, he said sorry to his wife, who detectives had earlier said they were unable to speak to because she was suffering from shock. Separately, "I want to apologize to my wife for the hell that she has been through," he said. He thanked the Ukrainian security service for saving his life and said the operation had been planned for 2 months. Mr. Gritsak says investigators have identified a Ukrainian citizen who allegedly was paid $40,000, £30,000, by the Russian security service to organize and carry out the killing. That citizen was also apparently asked to buy weapons and ammunition. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has promised to provide protection to Mr. Babchenko and his family going forward. The leader added that Ukrainian authorities are becoming stronger in countering what he termed Russian aggression. Ukraine had released an image of a man wanted in connection with the killing. A statement from the Ukrainian embassy in London said the perpetrator of a crime had been arrested and that Ukraine will bring organizers to justice. It has been reported that a Ukrainian citizen has been arrested. Mr. Gritsak said his service had received information about a Russian plan to assassinate Mr. Babchenko, and had managed to prevent it. Mr. Babchenko, one of Russia's best-known war reporters, spoke and wrote last year about leaving the country because of repeated threats that he and his family would be harmed. There has been backlash from some in the journalism trade over Ukraine's actions. The chief of Reporters Without Borders has condemned the Babchenko operation, saying, "It is pathetic and regrettable that the Ukrainian police have played with the truth, whatever their motive, for the stunt." Channel 4 News International editor Lindsay Hilson wrote on Twitter that the action will impact journalists' safety. "So now every time a journalist is murdered, those responsible will unleash their bots and propagandists to say it's fake news. Thanks, Ukrainian security services. That's really helpful to all who care about journalists' safety." #Babchenko, she said. Russia said Ukraine's alleged use of Mr. Babchenko served its propaganda purposes. The Kremlin had earlier said that Ukraine had become a very dangerous place for journalists, and criticized Kiev for failing to protect them. Another well-known reporter, Pavel Sheremet, was killed in a car bombing in central Kiev in July 2016. The case remains unsolved, but he was also a critic of Russia, Ukraine and his native Belarus. Before the true fate of Mr. Babchenko had been revealed, UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson tweeted that he was appalled to see another vocal Russian journalist murdered. Copyright Sky News 2018. Share on Facebook, share on Messenger, share on Messenger, share on Twitter, share on WhatsApp. More from UK News. Top North Korea official lands in NY for talks with Pompeo. North Korean official Kim Jong-sol has arrived in New York for talks with the U.S. Secretary of State. Hero Grenfell grandfather Raymond Bernard sheltered 6 people in his flat. A hero grandfather who sheltered 6 people in his top-floor flat at Grenfell Tower was a modern-day Moses. His sister told the inquiry into the deadly fire. Pair face jail after claiming £125,000 by posing as Grenfell victims. A man and a woman who received £125,000 after falsely claiming they lived in Grenfell Tower have pleaded guilty.